counting out Nick Saban in Alabama at this point? We'll talk about it on this episode of Tide Talk Live. Welcome back into another episode of Tide Talk Live. Stacey Blackwood, joined as always by my good buddy Jake Thomas. Jake, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. On this Sunday evening, had a storms come through earlier. I think we get another round later tonight, early in the morning. So preparing for those as well. My internet was garbage. That's why we're kind of recording late. But anyway, we're here now, brother.
That's right. We're here, like you mentioned, on this Sunday night. Got an interesting conversation here that we're going to dive into in just a minute about the fact that a lot of people are in my opinion and Jake's opinion, and really it's not even more of an opinion. It's an opinion based off a lot of facts that it's a little premature and a lot of wishful thinking to think that Nick Saban and Alabama are done with their run in college football. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But as always, like it's scrolling there across the bottom of the screen, make sure you like, share, and subscribe today. Continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Jump in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts on this video. If you listen to us on podcast form, make sure you are subscribed on Apple Podcasts. Leave us that 5-star written review. Follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, just wherever you find podcasts, you can find Tide Talk Live, and we would greatly appreciate all your support there. Jake, I wrote an article this weekend about the dangers really and how it's not really that smart. That's the best way I can put it, to really be doubting Nick Saban in Alabama and counting those guys out. And I just wanted to kind of give you a chance to kind of give your thoughts on the matter and kind of explain to people that it's really not us being fanboys when we're saying don't doubt Saban. It's just really kind of pointing to the facts that if history tells you anything, Alabama's should be far from being counted out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, you look back in history in the past. I mean, he did it at LSU when he left. You'd have these coaches who are great college coaches, just don't make it in the NFL. It just never really played out well for Saban in the NFL, but he comes back to Alabama. His first year went 7-6. His second year, he got us an SEC title berth and got beat. But then the next year after that, SEC championship, national championship. So and then he dominated the 2000 teens era and all that. And it seemed like every year Saban has had a rebuild type quarterback. These little rumors and stuff get brought up, and like say the era is done, the dynasty's done, Saban's about to lose it, all that. And what happens? He took Blake Sims, won an SEC championship with him, and he took Jake Coker and won a national championship and an SEC championship with him. So it's premature to count off Alabama, to count off Nick Saban at any time. I don't care if we have the entire offense leaving or in the entire defense. All 11 guys on both sides of the ball can leave out, and you say, "Oh, Alabama is about to have a 6 year." No, Alabama is probably Saban would take that fuel and probably take it and win the national championship. And I think he's going to take this fuel that he's been seeing off season and use that to motivate the players this season.
Yeah, and in my article, if you want to check that out, go over to rolltidewire.com and you'll be able to find that there. And I really just kind of put together some historical facts of why you should not be counting out Alabama and Nick Saban. And everybody's brought up the quarterback competition. You briefly
Mm-hmm.
touched on it, Jake. This is not the first time. It's not
Right.
even the second time. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
is third, fourth, fifth time that Alabama's had a quarterback controversy heading into the season. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know people's it's going to take a long time to go back and remember, but in 2011, it was the second game of the year before A.J. McCarron took over that job from Philip Sims.
Yep.
And
That's
all
right.
A.J. McCarron did, who was unproven at the time, he threw an interception against Kent State to open the season that year. People were concerned. What did Alabama do the next two seasons?
Right. One
Back
championship.
back to back national champions.
Right.
And they were a kick six away for playing for a third straight.
Right.
So look, that's example one. Okay, then you mentioned the Blake Sims. Blake Sims,
Right.
a running back turned quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
took Alabama, won the SEC championship game, and earned a berth in the college football playoff. And if we would have had any remnants of a defense against Ohio State,
Yep.
probably would have played for a national title and probably would have beaten Oregon.
Right. Exactly.
Then you go to the Jake Coker the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Cooper Bateman are battling out. Cooper Bateman even gets a start against Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
We get down huge. Jake Coker comes back in, almost brings us back for a win. And if you remember, after that game, guys like Dan Wolken, uh, Joel Klatt even said Alabama has a Nick Saban problem.
I remember that.
And in that very same season, Alabama wins a national championship. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how many times we have to repeat the cycle for
Mm-hmm.
folks to learn that, a quarterback battle and a quarterback controversy doesn't mean that Alabama's not going to be a dang good football team. Okay, and then people want to bring up the fact, well, Georgia is now dominating college football. Yeah, they've won back-to-back national titles, and congratulations to Kirby Smart and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a great job. But have we forgotten that in Saban's run at Alabama, there has been 3 national championship ones just from the SEC West Division?
Right.
Auburn has won 1, and LSU has won 2.
Mm-hmm.
And LSU played for another that happened to be against Alabama, and they got beat.
Right.
So Alabama and Nick Saban somehow survived that.
Mm-hmm.
And by
Yeah.
the way, they also got beat by Clemson 2 out of 3 years for a national championship. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
thought Dabo Swinney was overtaking Saban for the king of college football.
What
Well,
happened
you
there?
know what? You know what? Alabama's won 2 national championships since, and Dabo Swinney and Clemson are still looking for that other one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
like I mentioned, people can wish and hope and pray
Mm-hmm.
that this dynasty is going to end, and
Mm-hmm.
one day it will end,
Yeah.
but it's not today. I'm basing my feelings and my thoughts and my opinions on what Alabama's going to look like in 2023 based off historical facts that we have
Mm-hmm.
seen time and time again from Nick Saban and this Alabama football program.
Yeah, 100%, Stacey. And I want to bring up example 3, talking about QB controversies. Got to go back to the Cooper Bateman, Blake Barnett. It was, I mean, Jalen Hurts was the third string guy on that team before he finally took over. I think it was that USC game.
Yeah.
And what happened in that game? We absolutely ran all over them. And I think that the media was projecting, USC to win that game because they was on their way back up and all that. And what happened there? And then what did Jalen Hurts do? Who wasn't a who was a better than, I would say, an average quarterback or a
He
throw.
was a true
Yeah,
freshman.
exactly.
He was not an elite quarterback in college football his freshman year.
Right. Yeah.
But what did we do? We
One of-
made it to the national championship game, and
Mhm.
Clemson beats us on a pick play as the time expired.
Yeah, exactly.
With pause for a minute, Deshaun Watson as their quarterback,
Yeah.
one of the elite quarterbacks of the last generation in college football.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're right, Jake. It's
Hmm.
just there's example after example
Hmm.
of Nick Saban and Alabama finding a way.
Hmm.
I mean, look, you can bet on Nick Saban magically losing his grasp on college football. But my money, my house money is going on Nick Saban in Alabama figuring it out, because you know what? More often than not, they have.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it time and time again, and I mean, he's not the greatest coach ever by not making, the adjustments, mid-season and throughout the season like he has. So, like we have said time and time again, Stacey, he's going to, when the time comes, he's going to make, the correct choice on the quarterback, whether that be, Milrow or Ty Simpson, and he's going to put the guys that's going to give him the best opportunity to win ball games on the field. He's done that time after time after time after time.
Yep. And look, I think people get this misconception of Alabama fans that kind of defend Nick Saban in Alabama that we're being fanboys or whatever. But look, you can think that, but like I've said numerous times, we're basing our opinions on this over what we have seen happen over the last 15 years, not
Mhm.
what we hope will happen.
Right.
Obviously, we hope they win, but Jake, I'm confident because I've seen it happen time and time again.
Mhm. Yep.
And so I think the way I kind of worded the heading of my article, Jake, is that wishful thinking has led people to think that Alabama and Nick Saban are done.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, Jake. They want to see the giant fall. They want to see the dynasty end. They
Mhm.
want to sing the king. They want to see the king's rule come to a close. And
Mhm.
all that is, Jake, is wishful thinking. That's all it
That's
is.
that's all it is. That's all it is.
Until they can give me some facts
Mhm.
that they are basing their strong opinion on, I mean, I I don't really have any kind of I don't hold any value to what they're saying. And I think Kirk Herbstreit, he come out this week and said, "Look, I'm not counting out Alabama and Nick Saban. Just when you think they're done, here they come." Is
Right.
basically what he said, and that's
Mhm.
all we're trying to say. I mean, look, you doubting Alabama? Watch out!
Mhm.
Watch out!
Yeah. I mean, look at you're talking about adjustments that Saban's made in the past several seasons, and we've talked about it. The it seems like the defense has kind of lost its luster a little bit, its toughness throughout the seasons. What does he do? He brings back an old school guy in Kevin Steele, and look what happened A Day. I mean, physicality is back on that defensive side of the ball. And I believe you're going to see that this season, and you're going to see that physicality come back. So talking about making adjustments, Saban saw that. He got Pete Golden was he's a great coordinator or not a great coordinator, a great recruiter. He still got some stuff to learn to be a great coordinator. He might do it at Ole Miss, but Saban saw it kind of had a crumble in the cracks a little bit. He brought in Kevin Steele, an old school guy. Now he's getting the defense back like it was, early on in his reign.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Saban's going to figure it out, man. He's forgotten more about football than everybody else
I know
in
it.
America will ever know. I
Yeah.
mean, he's the GOAT for a reason. He's
Yeah.
won 7 national championships for a reason. I mean, think about that, 7.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm confident in Alabama and Nick Saban because I've seen him do it time and time again. People are saying they're done because they want it to be over.
Right.
And that's all it is.
Yep. And I want to say one thing, and I may get some Georgia Bulldog fans riled up, but what did Kirby do? He used Saban's philosophy
Well,
to
yeah, and
build the
of course
Georgia
he
team.
did. Why wouldn't
Right.
he? Why wouldn't
Exactly.
he? Why wouldn't
Exactly.
he?
Yeah.
And dude, kudos
Mhm.
to Kirby. He's done a
Mhm.
heck of a job, man.
He
He's
has.
he's done a great job. He continue and he continues to recruit and develop at a high
Mhm.
level. Georgia's going to be right there,
Absolutely.
always. But so
Mhm.
is Alabama. I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, I didn't even bring up the fact that well, people were bringing up that Alabama's going down. Well, that means the recruiting's going down, right? No.
No.
The last 2 years, it's been a whopping 2 years since Alabama played for a since Alabama won a national championship.
Mhm.
Uh, so their recruiting must have dropped off, right? No, they finished number 2 and number 1. And by the way, they've went into the backyard of Kirby Smart and Georgia Bulldogs, the back-to-back national champions, and signed the 2 best players from that state. One of
Mhm.
which was a legacy player, and
Right.
Justice Haynes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alabama and
Yeah.
Saban are done.
And even this year's recruitment, Alabama always has like 3 or 4. They got 8 right now, but he usually picks it up when the season starts. But even I don't know how they like
Oh,
the
the average
yes, the
player
average ranking.
ranking is
Yeah,
better than anybody in the country.
exactly. With 8 recruits so far, and it's only going to get better. You
And
know,
yeah, they're just getting started.
yeah, it's crazy.
But
Recruiting has not gone down at all.
no, look, and that's a great sign of what of why you can't just push away Nick Saban and Alabama. They got too much talent.
And and
They
I
got
will
too
say,
much talent.
yeah, and I will say, in the era of NIL, he's still doing this.
Yep. Yeah. So for those of you who think he's whining about NIL, think
Yeah.
again.
We could go on a whole nother topic on that, Stacey.
Yeah, but hey, that's really going to wrap. We just wanted to get this out and kind of
Mhm.
discuss how really it's kind of dangerous if you're already doubting Nick Saban and Alabama and their ability to get back on top of the college football mountain. Saban's not done. I know he's 71 years old, but the dude looks early 60s really.
Yeah,
He's still at the top of his game. Recruiting is good as anybody else in the country.
his mind's still
Developing as
there.
good as anybody in the country.
Mhm.
He's in great health, so he's not slowing down.
No,
It's not over with yet. I'm sorry if you're hoping and wishing that it's over. It's not. Uh, and more often than not, history repeats itself. So 2023 could be a special year for Nick Saban in Alabama. But that's going to wrap this episode up. We thank you so much for watching. Had a lot of fun. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe today. We'll be back in a couple days with another episode. So make sure you are subscribed so you get notifications when we do either upload a video or go live. So we appreciate the support. We'll see you soon. Until next time, roll tide.
roll tide.